Find a river in the north of the state of Florida called the Crystal River. Find the point in the river where the warm water comes out of its bed and meets the cold water of the river. There you will also see the mermaids mentioned by Columbus. We find mermaids and stories in different ancient cultures of the world. It would be very difficult for any researcher to prove from historical sources where the concept of mermaids originated. We find the concept of jinn, ghosts, fairies and other magical creatures in all cultures of the world. But, what is interesting about mermaids is that people from different regions and cultures have mentioned exactly the same creatures in different periods. An extremely beautiful woman, who was human only up to her waist and the rest of her body was like a fish. In many stories they are shown talking to humans and in many stories they are only capable of singing. But among all the historical mentions, the most interesting mention was that of Christopher Columbus. It is said that during his 1493 voyage, Columbus was passing by the islands of the Dominican Republic and saw mermaids. Her torso was the same as they had heard in the stories, but it was not as beautiful from above as they had imagined. My personal interest in loggerheads began 3 years ago when I was searching for loggerhead turtles in the ocean off Florida, USA. It is also similar to the Volkswagen Beetle. It should be remembered that this sea in the state of Florida is not far from the area where Christopher Columbus saw mermaids while passing by. Coincidentally, the same boat I was diving with had a marine biologist from the University of Miami on board. When I mentioned to him the story of Christopher Columbus, he said to look for a river in the north of the state of Florida called Crystal River. Find the point in the river where the warm water leaves its bed and meets the cold water of the river. There you will also see the firefly that Columbus mentioned. Next day, I put my diving gear in the Jeep and headed north of the state in search of a river called Crystal River. This river was not very deep. I took some pictures of the creatures I saw after swimming a long way in it.